What's going on, everybody? How's it going? Daniel Teaches here, out for another episode. About to do some more talking. I don't know if it's how wise it'll be or how influential it'll be, but it's definitely some things I want to get off my chest. First off, for the people who've been following me for a while, know that I preach failure as an amazing thing. You gotta fail in life, man. It's good for you. You gotta struggle. You gotta go through obstacles. But in reality, man, they absolutely suck. Failing sucks. Like, it sucks so much, man. It's just one of those things where it feels like it's so easy when you're not failing at the moment to take a step back and be like, failing only makes you stronger. The obstacles that I've faced make you better. You know, like what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Yeah, man, go tell that to someone who's been growing up in an abusive household. Like, I'm not saying I disagree with you, but I'm saying if you're not that person, it is so much harder to understand that. But basically, man, I've been thinking about failing. I've been thinking about just taking an L, not doing good. And I realized this, right? If you look at it from a logical perspective, and if you look at it and you go, all right, the best option is I succeed. I do not fail, right? After that, it's like, all right, I failed. What can I get out of this, right? How can I learn? What lesson can I take away from this? And obviously, it's a lot easier thinking logically and thinking rationally when you've taken a step back, right? Because when you're in it, it's hard, man. You're in the trenches, you're tunnel vision. That's all you see. And it's hard to think logically and rationally in the moment. It is extremely hard. But I believe with experience and with practice, it does get easier. But man, I've been failing left and right all my life, right? The amount of things, man, failing at relationships, failing tests, failing physical examination, failing, you name it, man. I've failed in more ways than I can count. And in a lot of ways, you know, I look at failing as a good thing, right? It helps you grow, it helps you become better. You look back at it and it makes you stronger. And this is my point. I have yet to meet a person in my 20 years of living on this earth who has never failed. I've yet to meet a brother who would be like, yo, man, they never catch me slipping. Nope, I don't fail. I've never made a mistake. I've never lost. I haven't. If you have, great, man. Introduce him to me. Tell me what his secret is. Because everybody who I've met has made mistakes, has failed, has went left when they should have gone right, has picked A when they should have picked B. And it absolutely sucks. Now, here's the thing. I've met everybody who's made mistakes, right? Like everybody who's made mistakes, I've met them. But now we divide into two different categories. I've talked to people who've made mistakes and they spend time kicking themselves for it, beating themselves up over these mistakes, and just really being critical of themselves. And I've also seen people who just, the mistake was right over their head. And they're like, whatever, man, I failed. It's part of life. And they keep moving. I don't know about you guys. I like the latter. Because the first one is brutal. The first one is like, hey man, not only is losing bad, but it's like you're beating yourself up over losing when the loss is bad enough. Like, it's brutal, guys. It's brutal because I always think like, okay, man, you don't want to dwell too much on your losses. Why? Because at the time that you're dwelling on your losses, you could take that to plan on your next W, right? To think about your next win. However, I don't think you should completely just ignore them. I think it's important to look back at them, learn from them, take what you will, and then move forward, right? All in moderation. I don't want you to think about this one time in the 7th grade, I did this much. Not like that. But if you can think back to an occasion, you can think about, well, what had happened? You know, what's one good thing I can take from this that can make me a better person? And I think that, my friends, is a situation where you're going to get the best from a failure. That is when a failure is going to truly give you the most value. Because you are going to fail in life. In a relationship, in your job, whatever it is, man, it's going to happen. And what's really, really, really important is when you do fail, how do you respond to it? Do you accept it? Do you deny it? Do you zone in on it and beat yourself up over it? Or do you go, hey man, it's just a part of life? Now again, right, it's super easy for someone to be like, it's just a part of life and da-da-da-da-da. The reason I'm making this video, this podcast today is because like I was fresh off failing something, right? Long story short, I was working on this assignment. I was going hard on it, put time into it. And I mean, I didn't fail, but I did extremely poor on it. And I just remember, man, one of the worst things in high school was just, I would put so much effort, so much time into something, and the result would not be a reflection of my work. You know, like that work hard, work smart thing? I might spend like 4, 5, 6 hours on a homework assignment or on a test, but either I'm studying the wrong things or I'm worried too much about memorizing rather than actually understanding the material. So that's on me. And I go in there and I come out of that, and the exam score, if you will, reflects someone who barely even studied. So I think that was the worst feeling in the world for me. Because if I fail at something that I didn't try at, it's whatever. When I was a kid, I heard this a lot, and I understand the psychology behind it now. We'd be playing games, whether it be gym, a math test, whatever it may be, and the losing team, one of the catchphrases was, man, I wasn't even trying, man. I wasn't even, come on, man. Nah, man, I wasn't even trying, man. Why? Because if you're not trying, and if you lose, you didn't really lose trying your best, and it doesn't hurt as much. I preach a lot about, oh man, it's good, failures aren't that bad, but when you're in it, it absolutely sucks. It absolutely sucks. To give you 2 cents on a Danial teacher story, I want to take you back to 2016. I'm on my way to becoming a lifeguard, and I'm crushing everything, crushing the first day, crushing the teaching stuff. And I get to this final course, and I'm doing it. I remember I was so sure I had this in the bag. I would even show up an hour and a half early, 6 a.m. at the pool, just to practice and go through over procedures and whatnot, and I still failed. And I remember that was such a pivotal moment in my life, but I'm so grateful to it, because up until that point, I had never really failed at something that I really, truly cared for. And don't get me wrong, I'd failed at, again, like friendships, but I mean, I didn't like them that much. Otherwise, I would have fought for them more. That's a different story for another day. You know, I failed the tests before, but it's like I didn't really study. But this was something that I went all out. I read everything, man. I did it the time. I went to class early, and I still failed. And man, that one stung. That one stung. Because when you put everything, when you put your best, right? When you approach something with your best, and you don't get that result, there's serious self-doubt that starts to creep in. It says, am I good enough? When you go into something saying, you know what, man, I've never felt better, you almost get these thoughts of like, and this is the result I got. So if I can't get any better than this, am I doomed to repeat this result over and over and over again? It's brutal, my friends. It's absolutely brutal. And I think in the moment, man, you gotta experience all those emotions. I wish I could tell you, man, that when I fail at things, I smile. But I'll say this though, when I'm more consciously aware, when it's things that I don't have too much emotional attachment to, I'm quicker to snap out of it. Right? I'll fail a test that I didn't care too much for. I'm like, hey man, you know what? Whatever, we'll learn from it. This is a part of life, right? Life is about failing, right? Life is about learning, and this is one way to learn. You know, but sometimes, man, you know, there's other things going on in your day, and things accumulate, and it's when all these different things are going on, and then that hits you in the face too, and you're like, man, fuck this. And that's how it gets you. If I'm not mistaken, folks, please don't quote me on this, but I believe the onset of depression is not just a singular event. So it's not saying, hey man, so-and-so's father passed away, he got depressed, or, you know, he was involved in this accident, he got depressed. Usually, if I'm not mistaken, it is a series of events. It is a series of these small things that add up over time. And then eventually it's the accumulation of everything, man, that pushes you over the edge. And that is how you develop a mental disorder, right? It could be things like, you know, you're living with your abusive boyfriend, and then you get into a car accident and you don't know how you're going to pay for that. And your mom passes away, and at the same time, you just fail an exam. And it's the buildup of all those things put together. You feel overwhelmed. You don't even know where to start. And I think that's where it comes from. What I'll say is this, my friends. In life, you're going to fail. You're going to fail all the time. And that's okay. What's important is that you have a target. Now, this is a beautiful idea I want to present to you guys from Dr. Jordan Peterson. I'm not sure if I've mentioned it before, but his idea was this. People in life don't aim. Why? Because when they start to aim, when they start to look at a target, they are aware of when they miss that target or when they hit that target. And that target means your goals, right? So the benefit of never aiming in life, the benefit of never having goals, the benefit of never having high expectations is you can never fail. You are never aware of when you hit the target or not. That sounds great, right? Because then you never feel that self-doubt, you never feel bad, you never feel defeated. Except eventually, you will fail blindly so freaking much that by the time you open your eyes, you're 65 and you failed so much that it is irreversible and permanent. And it is so damaging that you cannot overcome it. That is the price for not wanting to fail. Because this is the mind mess. You think you're not failing, but you are. Only thing you're doing is you're covering your eyes and you're pretending I don't see this. But eventually, my friends, it happens. So aim. Aim like your life depends on it, because it does. Because when you aim, you see the target. And at least if you miss, man, you can make calculations and go, all right, I did this, this clearly didn't work. Let me go back to the drawing board, let me make a new plan, and let me shoot again. Because when you aim, when you have a target, man, you realize where you are. Am I close to the target? Am I bullseye? Is this target too easy? Should I move on to another target? Man, maybe I'm out of my mind. I went for this target. This is way out of my league. Let me take a step down. It's really, really, really important to aim in life, folks. And when you have failures, it is important to see them. Please be aware of them. If a friend group didn't work out and you're not friends, you're not buddy-buddy with these people anymore, whose fault was that? If it's your fault, dude, you have to be open to it. It's so easy for me to look at the group of people around me and go, you know what, man, F everybody. Nobody wants to hang out with me. You know, my close friends, they don't want to see me. You know, blah, 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 blah. It's super easy to do that. But when I can open my eyes and realize, be like, hey man, I'm an extrovert. I love being around people. I love being around parties, but I also love being around myself. And yeah, you know what? For the longest time, I'm the dude who you meet at a party, you have a great time with, and then you don't hear from me for 6 weeks. Because that's what I do. I'm like Batman. I show up, I have a good night, and then I disappear. Right? Because I'm in the Danial teaches and I'm in the homework and I've got a very specific way of doing things. And it's like, dude, whose fault is that? I could pick my phone up and hit up any one of my friends right now and be like, hey man, if you want to grab a coffee or something, I'd love to. But it's so easy to twist the story and hide our eyes from our own mistakes. Right? So please, my friends, please, if you are failing, I know it sounds counterintuitive. I know it sounds hard and scary, but I guarantee you, the people who will overcome their failures and be better for it are the people who embrace their failures head on. I sincerely mean it. If you start running away or pretend that, oh, I didn't really give it my all, or pretend like you don't see your failures and you start blaming it on other people or other things or the universe, man, I personally, in my 2 cents, I don't recommend it. Any time in my life when I've taken responsibility, this is what happens. I feel a little bit of pain at the front. You have to, it's natural. And then I feel amazing because I'm able to overcome it. Whenever you run from a failure or a mistake or something that you know is wrong, you feel good in the short term, but then that pain adds up and that thing smacks you in the face like nothing else, man. It's up to you. When do you want to face your failure? Do you want to get it over with in short term and then, man, you're good? Or do you want to just put it aside and let it grow and build and get worse? That's up for you to decide, ladies and gentlemen. That's up for you to decide. Damn. Guys, why do these sound so dark? Like, why? Have you folks noticed, like, the podcasts and the episodes, man? Some of them sound really dark, man. That's what it is. Maybe that's why I bring guests on. So they can, like, lighten up the mood. It's so funny because I'm usually, like, a super, like, funny, like, I don't know, you know, like, smiley-minded guy. And then I get on here. Sometimes they're just some dark. I don't want to say dark, but it's like, it's important to hear. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's important to hear, dude. Life sucks sometimes. You know? And when I mean life sucks sometimes, right, I understand it's about perspective, right? It's about how you're living life. It's about your view on life. But you know what, man? Life is full of suffering. You will get cheated on, possibly. You might not get your dream job. You'll make mistakes. You'll be in accidents. You'll witness things that you should not have witnessed, you know? And it is what it is. And I feel like it's important to talk about everything. Not just the good stuff. Not just the, hey guys, I had a great day today. But no, man, I just totally failed an assignment. You know, and it sucks, but it's a part of life. And let's figure out how we can bounce back from this and be better today than we were yesterday. Now, my friends, on to a slightly lighter topic. Folks, why don't people kill themselves more often? Why don't people kill themselves more often? Why wouldn't you? Why would you not kill yourself? All right, let's talk about the benefits of killing yourself. Check this out. Why do people do it, right? There's a plethora of reasons, but let's just keep it basic so everyone's on the same page. You're in a situation. You believe that it is never ending. You are looking for something to help against the pain. That might be alcohol. That might be talking to someone. That could be exercise. It could be listening to music. That could be drugs. And that could be suicide. The benefit of suicide is, man, you don't feel anything anymore. It's done. You feel overwhelmed. You know, people always say, man, life is life, man. You got it. You have to do the homework. You have to go to school. You have to do your 9 to 5. No, you don't. You kill yourself. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do absolutely anything. Kill yourself, man. I guarantee you that homework is not going to matter much. You're going, well, Daniel, why are you talking about this, man? Because I want to paint this picture in your mind. You know, sometimes people go, you're like, oh, man, I don't know how he did it. I don't know how he could kill himself. Like, no, it makes sense. You know, your marriage isn't going right in one end. You got this stuff going on the other end. You owe someone money over here. Your parents aren't doing too well here. Totally, man. Why wouldn't you kill yourself? Why don't people kill themselves more often? Why? Because when you kill yourself, you avoid all those feelings of sadness. You avoid those feelings of hardship and having to go through it. Instead of embracing darkness, instead of embracing it, man, you just go, I'm done. I'm out. It's like finding a cheat code in the system. It's like you're hacking the system. Instead of, someone close to you dies, right? They pass away, and you having to feel those feelings and cry and be immersed in it for God knows how long. You're like, I'm just gonna not feel this way anymore. And then you turn it off. You remove yourself from that situation, thus you don't feel those feelings anymore. That sounds like an amazing answer, does it not? So why don't people kill themselves when they fail a test? Or when they get cheated on? How come there are people out here living today who've grown up in such abusive households that me and you could never imagine? How come there are people out there who haven't killed themselves, who work under such a piece of garbage boss, who just makes them do all kinds of nonsense and literally decreases the quality of their lives, yet they still go to work every day? Why doesn't the kid who's grown up in an orphanage because his parents didn't want him, why doesn't he kill himself? My message is, we realize that that's an option. We realize that killing ourselves, ending life, is a way to escape those feelings, is a way to get away from the anger and being, it almost lets us get out of a situation. It makes us think, okay, this is my only way out. This is the only way that I can solve this problem. So with that in mind, with all the people in the world who have hardships, I don't know if you know any of them personally. I'm sure you can. I know of many people that I've heard of online, heard their stories, seen what they've gone through, and the determination, persistence, positivity, hard work. You look at these people and you go, my God, the things you've been through, the things you've seen, you're the strongest person I've ever met in my life. How do you do it? Why would someone push on? Like, seriously, why? Here's my 2 cents on it. The reason why more people don't kill themselves, the reason why the 9-year-old who was diagnosed with a disability that he had absolutely nothing to do with doesn't kill himself, the reason why the guy with the abusive father who beats him every day doesn't kill himself, leads into this. In life, when you think that something is permanent, things get really scary because you think there's no way out and you are doomed to repeat the cycle over and over and over again. When you realize that things in life are only temporary, that will change your perception of not only yourself, but the world around you. When you realize you're sitting in math class and it sucks and you're getting bad grades, that's only temporary. Your circumstance, financially, be it health, be it, these things are only temporary. People will come and go. Opportunities will come and go. Nothing lasts forever. And that, my friends, I believe is a huge factor in people thinking, you know what? Good things don't last forever, but bad things don't last forever either. So with that in mind, with the knowledge that there is light at the end of the tunnel, why would I not strive to find that light? Why would I not bite down? Because I know that it's going to get better. I see it. I see it. It will get better. So let me push. Let me push forward until it does get better. There was a quote. Unfortunately, I don't know who originally said it, but they said, man, if you're in hell, if you're going through hell, why would you stop? Why would you stop in hell? Keep going. Get over that hill. If you're going to stop anywhere, man, don't stop in hell. Get through whatever you're going through and then stop and then relax and then chill out. I think, people get into this place where all you see is darkness. And you need someone now, whether it's yourself or whether it's someone around you, to show you the light and go, man, things can change. I'm not saying they'll change next week or next month, but it is temporary and things do get better. And there's so many beauties in life, man, that you haven't even experienced yet. I don't care if you're 20 years old. I don't care if you're 60 years old. There are things that you need to see. I don't know if any of you folks are religious at all, but a good friend of mine once gave me this story. He said, Daniel, if it's all said and done, right, and when you're up there, again, if you're religious, go for it. If not, you can turn this however you like. When you're up there talking to God or the higher power or whatever, and it says, I gave you one shot. I gave you one shot at this game called life. One opportunity. What did you do with that opportunity that I gave you? What did you do? Whose lives did you improve? How did you help the people around you? How did you give back to the people? What did you do for yourself? How did you make the world a better place? What was your impact? And the reason I present this, my friends, is because I believe a huge meaning of life comes from the very fact that we know our days are numbered. Because we know our days are going to die, because we know this doesn't last forever, it makes it that much more meaningful. Right? We enjoy life that much more because we know that this will be taken away and that we should not take it for granted. Now, mind you, we do forget from time to time, but going throughout life, you will experience a lot of amazing things and a lot of tragically terrible things. The big thing to remember, my friends, is this. I am a huge believer in the fact that if you do not go through tragedies or hardships or the bitter parts of life, can you truly appreciate the pleasures of life? If I drive every day, will I appreciate this vehicle as much as a kid who's known to busing for his entire life, right? Taking 1 hour long bus rides, waiting out there in the rain for the bus to come when it doesn't show up. And then he gets to sit in a nice warm car. Do you think I'll value my car the same way this kid values the car? In my opinion, I don't think so. I think I'll get too used to it. I'll get too comfortable. I have nothing to compare it to. And because that young man will compare it to waiting out in the rain when the bus wouldn't show up, and then you get on a crowded bus and it's hard and it's a 1 hour ride. You're damn straight he's going to value this car more than I will. But I believe that comes from a place of I don't want to call it darkness, but just maybe some of the more bitter things in life, right? Some of the more places where you become challenged, where you're put in situations where you're pushed, you're made to feel uncomfortable. I've said this, example before. I'll say it again. How can you truly appreciate beautiful honey? If you've ever put honey in tea, it's absolutely delicious. And it's the sweetness of honey in tea. How can you truly appreciate that if you've never had black tea? If you give someone honey with tea forever, right? They're like, yeah, of course, it's tea. That's what tea's supposed to be. But if you give someone black tea and they're not used to the bitterness, they're going to go, what the hell is this, man? And they'll get accustomed to it. And then you give that person who's only ever drank that bitter tea, you give them tea with some honey in it. They'll be like, wow, that's amazing. That's really sweet. Now, I don't mean that in general, but just the example in the sake of when you understand what pain is like, you will appreciate pleasure that much more. If you're ever in a situation where you blow someone off, you don't hang out with them, and they pass away, I guarantee you, if you have another friend and he wants to hang out, that'll have an impact on you. That history, that mindset of what you went through with that other person will impact your future decisions. And you go, yeah, I'll be there. I'll definitely will be there. Because in the back of your mind, man, you don't know if this is the last time you're going to see this dude. There's too many beauties in life that you have to experience. Life is too meaningful. Your days are already numbered. You can help so many people. You can give back to so many people. There's so much potential for you. There are so many things that you have yet to do on this earth. There's so many people you have still to help. There are so many people who are going to give you hugs and handshakes, who are going to make you feel good, who are going to share laughs with you. Go out and go up on a big hike, look over the terrain. Go watch a movie, skinny dip in the beach, whatever, man. I'm just saying, you've got so much more to do. There's so much out there. And any situation that you are in life, it is only temporary. Might it be weeks, might it be years, but it does get better. And as soon as you realize that it is temporary, and that there are so many beauties and so many factors of life, believe it or not, I don't care whether you're 30 years old listening to this, that you have not yet experienced. And you only have one shot at life. Please, my friends, do not throw that shot away. Please don't do it. I know it's hard. Believe me. I read about this stuff, guys. I'm studying psychology. I've talked to people, and I've heard some unbelievably heartbreaking stories that you couldn't even imagine. And it breaks my heart because I see people struggling. But there is nothing in this world that makes me more inspired and more motivated to see people in struggle and pushing forward. To see people in terrible situations take another step. And it's hard, and they're not lying. But to just look at the grit that they have, and they go, you know what? Life's going to be hard. I expected it such. Bring it on. There's nothing more inspiring in this world, my friends. And what you gain from that, overcoming these obstacles, overcoming struggle, overcoming those hardships, I can't even put into word how beneficial that is. How meaningful every single day is to you. All the experiences that you're going to have in life. Please, my friends, do not steal that away from you. Please don't do it. If anyone listening to this or watching this is in a bad place right now and is in that spiral of having thoughts of suicide, please, my friends, reach out to a professional. Like as soon as possible, my friend. I guarantee you, if you can just speak to someone and have a conversation like this, it'll do wonders for you. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. It's absolutely amazing. So please, guys, psychologists, therapists, whoever you need, professionals in your area locally. I know it's COVID time right now. A lot of people are doing just virtual, just like this. And I really think if you can just express yourself and express the way of life to someone else. And here's the thing, guys, they don't have to have empathy. And what I mean by that is they don't have to have literally been in your shoes. A lot of people won't have. Like, I've heard a lot of stories and my heart breaks for them, but I can't lie. I can't be like, I know what that feels like, because I don't. But what I can tell them is they have every right to feel the way that they do, that I'm going to be there for them, that I'm going to listen to them. And if they're interested in hearing my 2 cents, I'm more than happy to share it with them. But please, folks, if you are thinking those sorts of things, listen to positive things. Listen to podcasts or videos or anything, man. Music that's inspirational, that's uplifting. And please reach out to someone. Even if that's just a best friend. Even if that's just a family member. Someone who you feel comfortable talking to. And I guarantee you, it'll push you into the right direction. It's a good first step into the right direction. My friends, thank you a lot for listening to this episode. I know we got really, really dark. And, oftentimes I get these thoughts and I'm like, man, I really want to share them. Not just to say I'm right about this. I don't know if I'm right at all. I could be totally off. I hope I'm right. That's why I'm sharing this. I hope I'm somewhat in the area. But, this has just been my perspective. This has been my opinion on that matter. I will definitely continue to do more research and to try to educate myself furthermore in that world. But besides that, my friends, I'd love for you to share your opinions. Reach out to me on Instagram, on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, man. I read everything. I read absolutely everything. Reach out to me. Let me know, what do you think? And, how's life going for you? What are your thoughts on what I've said in this video here? My friends, I appreciate your support. Stay safe out there. And take care of yourselves. Look out for one another. Bye-bye, my friends.